I bought an economy seat. You can't just upgrade me like this. He goes, well, I will make a formal complaint against you and you and you. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another story. Right, today's story happened in Dubai, specifically the airport. So the story is narrated by the customs officer in Dubai airport. So he started off with one day he was on shift, and just towards the end of his shift, towards when everybody's really tired towards the end of the shift, especially if you've had quite a heavy job and quite an intense one, on your feet a lot, searching, talking, discussing things with people. And so this guy just had an hour or so left of his work, and then he was sat in his office, and then two of his junior officers bring a young lad over to him, handcuffed. Like, this is serious thing. They got handcuffed, brought him in, and they had the file ready, the file for what they found on him, and then they had written out all the main details. So essentially he's on the system. He looked at it, he was quite startled by what he's seen. He just looked at this guy, just a child, really worried, really paranoid, really worried about the situation that he's been put in. Now he's just under 18 or just past 18, so thereabouts that age, and came in handcuffed, two officers holding him, two customs officers brought him in, and the guy was just sat there going, what happened? And then bring him, and he looks at the file, and he looks at the actual bag of what they found on him. Literally, he was singled out because he was exhausted from a trip he'd just come, transiting via Dubai. And so what had happened, he looked tired, and he just raised some suspicion to the customs, where they singled him out, they searched him, and then they found a very very small piece of weed. I don't condone weed, I don't condone drugs of any sort, regardless of the amount, but reality is it's a very very small amount. Anything could happen, right? Let's not go into the intentions, let's not go into anything. It's not exactly going to be Pablo Escobar with that amount anyway, so you can imagine it's some recreational needs. Now essentially, he found the customs officer looked at it. Why is he here? When he got searched, surely he could have just ignored it and chucked it in a bin for him or something. Why do go all of this? But anyways, he just, rules are rules, law is the law, no drug. Now the guy sat down, and the guy was really getting really worried and tired and frustrated, and he was definitely in the right state because of that. The complexity, or how severe the whole situation turned for him. He came off a plane, got singled out, they searched him, and they find this, he's handcuffed 1 minute, his world just turned around. And the thing goes through your mind of the worst case scenario that could happen to you. So the officer who's narrating the story, right, he goes, he brings him over, he sat down, because he's a duty officer there, he's higher rank up there, he had to deal with the whole paperwork, even though he's really tired and frustrated. As it is, he's had a long day, but now he can't go home until this paperwork's either been transferred, or his file's been transferred, or something's happened, or he's into the system properly now that the actual paperwork's gone on. He started looking through the paperwork, and then he said, you know what, listen, save me the hassle. Why did you have this amount on you? What brought you you can see his frustration in the custom officer's eyes. I don't need this right now, but you're in the system now, I need to investigate. Tell me the story from the beginning. He goes, I am going to tell you everything, and please have mercy on me. Please have mercy on me. This could change my life forever. On his way either to his main country first, and then on to university in America, or he was straight from Dubai straight on to America. And he said that I'd finished my high school, and I really did really well in my exams, enough to get my place, secure my place for medicine in America. And so knowing that I will leave my land and leave my hometown and go to America for a considerable amount of time, and I knew that once I get there, it will be just studying. Medical school is not an easy job. It's a full-on 24/7 engagement with it. You're either sleeping or studying or lectures. That's the way to get a good grade, really. And he knew that it's just going to be down, and he knew that there is no way that he could just muck about once he gets there. So he's really got to put his head down and focus, but he needs to get something out of his system. He's a teenager, he's coming towards his 20s, and he wants to make sure that he's really got everything out of his system. And he's got friends who are all encouraging him, let's go to Thailand. And the thing is, group of lads going to Thailand, all right, let's not Let's not question their intentions, but it's not going to be Umrah, is it? And so you're going to experiment with things. You're going to be exposed to drugs. You're going to be exposed to all sorts of things. And may Allah protect us all and all our kids and all our generation, everybody from going down the wrong route, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and this is in no way judging anybody or in no way stereotyping an entire country, by no means. But a group of youth, it's not going to be a masjid tour. Let's just put it that way. So the friends kept convincing our friend here to go with them. And, friends and peer pressure and it's going to be really amazing, it's going to be sick, it's going to be real, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. And he eventually went, he was convinced with the idea. Then he goes back to his parents and he convinces them that the idea that, listen, it won't be fun the minute I reach America. So let me get everything out of the system. And eventually they allowed him to go. Obviously, he said, there's nothing to do. And he said, I promise you, straight from there, I'll go straight to America, or even come by, pick up more stuff, and then head off to America. So no transit in the middle, nothing in the middle. They said, okay. So they reach Thailand, and one thing leads to another. The friends are buying weed over there, and it just so happened that he tried it once, tried it twice, and from whatever they had, whoever smoked it all, there was a small bit that it fell off his bag, it fell from the bag, or whatever it was. Like somehow, it was bizarre coincidence that happened, that he had a small amount that came into his pocket, and when they weighed it, and this is it was like 0.07 grams, like almost negligible. I don't think you can, I don't know, I haven't smoked it, so I don't know if that will even make you high. This is how it got into his pocket. So, and the thing is, he did it, he smoked, he got it out of the system, they stopped, and he never did it ever since. And he, obviously, all his clothes had been washed since, but it just so happens, subhanAllah, it's the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this little tribulation, this little test will happen. And so, and his way, he finished Thailand, he was on transit in Dubai, and then he got caught. The guy's just thinking, what? He thought about it. Now, listen, especially in the Arabic culture, that's it. Once you're tarnished, once something's happened, once you are labelled that you've been caught on drugs, regardless of the amount, regardless of the situation, regardless of how that drug got into your possession, that's it. And sometimes the entire family is tarnished with that reputation, regardless of what the situation is. And it just goes to show that it's really, really bad to tarnish an entire, I almost did with Thailand, right? It's really bad to tarnish an entire country based on the action of one person, right? Or an entire community or an entire family just because of one person, or just a black sheep somewhere in the community. It's not fair on the entire community to be tarnished because of one person. And the thing is, if one person does something really good, the entire community won't be branded. It's him that will be branded that he's good. It doesn't work both ways. It just works one way when it's negative. And so what's going through his head and what's going through the officers, the one who's narrating, the customs officer's head, is the same thing. This child's future could stop literally here. If we were to pursue this any further, this is going to happen. He's going to go and get in prison. He's going to be banned from going to Dubai. He's going to have it on his record. We're going to delay him from his trip to America. And then if anything, it's on his record. If the American authorities ask for anything, it's on his record. Just the whole, think about it, his entire life could crumble. You've got a drug case on you. And the thing is, going back, it's this much. It's just such a small amount. And this is what was going through both their heads. And then the custom officer, the thing is, because the paperwork has been drawn already, then that's it. He can't just turn a blind eye. The procedure has to happen. And so he goes, okay, don't worry, leave it with me. So he goes to his superior who is on duty. And he said to him, listen, we've got a child who's been caught on drugs. That's it. Do the normal system. But listen to me. No, procedure's procedure. You just got to follow the rules. We can't do any exception for anybody. But listen to the story. And he goes, okay, what is it? And he said to him, this is the story, and this is how he came by, and this is how he came in his possession, and this is what's happened, and this is the entire situation that surrounds the whole story. And he looks at the bag, and there's that little speck in this little plastic bag, evidence bag, right? And then there's a little speck of weed there. And he goes, you know what? We can't ruin this boy's life because of something small like this, and we can appreciate, and you as an officer, they've been trained to sort of see in people's eye if they're truthful, if they're not, to see who's fibbing, who's making up the story, and all of that stuff. Body language, general body language skills. And the fact that you've come in asking for me to intervene, the fact I can sympathise with the boy, and I think, yeah, you're right, but I don't have the authority to actually release him from custody because he's already on the system. It's too late. It's on there. We can't just delete it. So the only way is to pick up the phone and then let's just go and speak to my superior, who has the authority, and see what he says. So they pick up the phone together, and he said, "But you see, the thing is," and I said that this is our man telling the story. He's superior. Now his superior is thinking about escalating it to his superior to close the file. But he knows he's a guy that just does not mess around with the rules. Rules are rules, like nothing will sway him away from it. So he picks up the phone and then he starts with the same sort of introduction. You've got a child with drugs. That's it, system. So why are you even calling me? And he said, but listen, I was like this, but until I heard the story, I think if it's within your capacity to forgive the boy and let's just close the file and just let him be and save his future, will be much better for him and his family. So he goes through the whole scenario and tells them the entire story, and he thinks, you know what, yeah, you're right. So he started telling them the steps to do to make sure that it doesn't go on his file. Things similar, something as much as like, don't stamp on his passport, don't do this, don't do this, do this, do this, do this, get him through a transit, don't get him through Dubai. We're still going to put on his file because we need to catch him with drugs. Like we can't just let this small incident not be a lesson. We going to put a stop on his visa. If any visa applications to Dubai will be stopped for the next X amount of months or years, and destroy the evidence. I'll send my authorization to destroy the evidence, which is whatever the weed is, and let him be. So subhanAllah, the guy narrated the story, went back with the good news, did the processing, got the authorization, and the guy just was looking at all with so much respect for what this customs officer has done. Even as he's waiting in this agonizing wait, your life could change in just a split decision. That wait is so painful. It's so painful. And you can imagine that all the worst case scenario, and Shaitan's really, really clever. He just comes in these moments and starts adding to your sadness, adding to your sorrow. Because when you're sad and sorrow, you're not thinking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're thinking about the consequences, and that then negatively impacts you, your health, your psyche, your emotions. And at the moment, you just bursted out with like ecstasy and joy that this thing has happened and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has helped him through. And he looks at him and he goes, I will never forget this for you. I will never, ever forget this for you. You have changed me. And then the customs officer goes, listen, well, you've seen what happens with a small amount. There's a processing, there's a system, there's laws, there's regulations about it. It just so happened that we understand where you're coming from. We understand that the consequences of what's happened. But I ask of you just to never turn to this. Don't never take this route ever again. As in, like drugs. And he turned back to me and said, don't you worry. I've learned my lesson. If I see somebody smoking from there, I'll be on the other road. I'm not going anywhere near it. I'm not even going to smell it. So the process finished. Now, years go past, and our friend or the narrator of the story had an accident which required a lot of healthcare and a lot of attention and a lot of care. And the thing is, whatever he needed in terms of care wasn't available in Dubai, so he ended up going to Germany. So once he was in Germany, he was there at one particular sort of health facility or institution, a healthcare institution, where he sat there. He went through the course of whatever the program that was set out for him, including some physiotherapy, what have you. He had the whole works until. So it was a certain program, and there he was sat down one day in the sort of the green area, or whatever the space that they had there. And as he was sat down, he realised that there was one person just staring at him, with an old lady next to him. So whenever he looks back and then he looks up, he's just staring at him. He felt really uncomfortable, the fact that this guy's just staring at him. And then he continues, he reads his book, and looks at his phone, and then looks up. The guy's just staring at him. He's so uncomfortable. You can imagine how uncomfortable this is. And then he just like sort of got up and then just left. It's like a day or two just before he leaves Germany. He was in his hotel room, and then he gets a knock, and he sees a group of guys outside his door. So this is the customs officer who's narrating the entire story. Now he's in a hotel, and then he opens the door, and he doesn't know many people. He just barely knows a few people from the embassy. One of the drivers from the embassy who will help him, take him to his appointments and back and forth. But he's sat in his hotel. He opens up his hotel room and he sees 3, 4 people carrying stuff. He looks at one of them who's carrying a big plate of rice, and then he had a bag of like plates of fruit and plates of sweets, and he was like a proper meal for him. He says, "Who's this for?" And the guy turns, "Are you so and so?" He goes, "Yeah, this is for you." "Where's it from?" "Well, to be honest, we don't know his name, but he just asked us. So he paid for all of this and goes, so and so, this room, deliver it to him. Where is he? Where's his number? Oh, we don't have it. He looks at him and goes, "Well, subhanAllah." And the thing is, it just so happened that he was sat there and he was planning for his dinner that moment, and subhanAllah, Allah send the dinner all the way to him. He opens, he looks at it, it's such a huge thing, it's not going to be, he'll never finish it. He rang a few of his friends, a few people from the embassy that he knew in the country. He brought them over, they all ate from it. Who's it from? What's the story? Well, I don't know. What happened? How did you bring this? Like, where would you find a restaurant that sells this at the moment in Germany? Like, it's one of those very, very, very traditional food that you just will not find it. It's very niche and very specific. He goes, well, alhamdulillah, khair, rizq from Allah, it's a provision from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's enjoy it for now. They finished, they ate, and may Allah reward you and reward the person who brought the food. Allah is like, jazakallah khair, they're all finished, gone. Then as he's reaching out, he finished his stay in Germany. He went to the airport, and then in the airport, and he went in to check in. Oh, they looked at his ticket, and the guy types up. He goes, "Oh no, sorry, you should have been the other counter." He looks at the other counter. It's like first class. He goes, "No, I bought. No, mine's economy." He goes, "No, it's been upgraded." He goes, "What do you mean it's been upgraded?" "No, it's been upgraded. There's a period between when he bought the ticket and a few days ago. It's been upgraded a few days ago." He goes, "But who upgraded it?" He goes, "Well, somebody." And then he goes, "No, I'm not having this. I bought an economy seat. You can't just upgrade me like this." He goes, the supervisor came, he heard the noise, and it's like, "What was going on?" "Yeah, but," and he does his computer things. "Yeah, but he's been upgrading. It's not like he downgraded you. You've been upgraded." He goes, "No, I need to know who did this. In fact, if I don't get an answer and I need to speak to the person who upgraded this, I need to speak to them. And I need to know why did they do this. Or I will make a formal complaint against you and you and you for not cooperating and for doing this silliness. I'd rather go in the economy and not have somebody's just upgrade me from I'm not a charity case. I don't need anybody's charity. I've paid with my own money and I'm happy with this." Then eventually the right, left, centre do a few phone calls. They get the number of the person who actually upgraded. He picks up the phone. "Hello, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam." Say, "Somebody Arab. Who are you? Are you the one who upgraded my ticket?" He goes, "Yes, I'm the one who upgraded your ticket." He goes, "But who are you? Like, do I know you? I don't owe you any favour. Who are you? Why? What made you do that?" He goes, "You think you don't know me, but you know me very well. Well, you've got to help me because I don't do all of these secret messages, all these surprise things. Who are you?" He goes, "Do you remember 7 years ago when a young guy came up to the airport? He had 0.07 of weed in his pocket." He goes, "Yeah, I remember that story very well." He goes, "That's me. You have changed my life. And ever since that moment, I knew that I would be indebted to you for the rest of my life. And this is nothing compared to what you've done. Upgrading your ticket is nothing compared to what you have done for me in my life." Because, are you the one who sent me the food?" Because, "Yes." "Subhanallah, subhanallah. I always wondered what happened to you and what happened." He goes, "Subhanallah. And don't tell me, are you the one who I saw in the hospital, was staring at me in the hospital?" He goes, "Yes. The thing is, when you saw me, I was quite a young person, but now 7 years on, and I have grown, obviously matured, changed. My appearance obviously has changed from an 18-year-old. And I knew that you didn't recognize me, but I'll never forget your face. I'll never, ever, ever forget your face. In fact, every time I make my dua, every time I raise my hand to make dua, supplication for you, for myself, I always make dua for you. And everything will open up for you, inshallah ta'ala. And honestly, the food and the upgrade is worth nothing compared to what you've done for me." He goes, "So what are you doing in Germany?" He goes, "After I left and I went over to America, and the thing is, I was forced to do a course I did not want." Listen to this, parents, right? "And I realized that either I continue on this and live quite a miserable life doing a career I do not want, or I pursue a life in engineering, which I really wanted. And so 2 years on, I quit my medicine and I moved to Germany to learn engineering. I graduated with first class honours, and I now have a job waiting for me in my country with the largest salary I could have ever imagined. Especially being a graduate, the number they're giving me because of my degree, because of my speciality, because of my thesis, is phenomenally unbelievable, even to my standards. And so, what I did for you is nothing compared to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give me, inshallah ta'ala, once I get back. And that old lady was my grandma. She so happened that she was not well, and we couldn't find any health institution that could help her. So we transferred her to Germany, and it just so happened I was with her that day. And I remember when I saw you, I just had to do something for you. But why didn't you come and say hello? Why didn't you say, you see, the thing is, you caught me with drugs, regardless of the amount. The shame for me to come and see you like that. It was just unbelievable. I just felt so shameful of what had happened that I would not ever think of coming to face you. In fact, my wedding is going to be in 2 years' time, 2 months' time, and you're most definitely invited. And I will arrange everything for you, even from your work, from everything. I will do everything for you, and you will definitely be my guest of honor. Now, the story ended there. And I know, a bit of an anticlimax what happened after all of that. But there are a few things. Learn to be quite forgiving. Learn to allow a lot of things go. Obviously, highlight them, call them out, because you don't want to give the wrong impression that they got away with it. Okay, so when our little ones do a bit of anything, obviously there's a nice way, there's a prophetic way, there's a Prophet Muhammad's way of dealing with things, and learn that, and you'll have more of an impact, and you'll change people's life by allowing things through. Not everything's got to be rigid. Not everything's got to be white or black. There's a lot of grey areas between things. So use your discretion to let the person know that what they've done is wrong, but at the same time, not scar them for life. And this happens: husbands with their wives, or wives with their husbands, or parents with the kids, or kids with the friends. And if you can just let things go every now and then, and let people know what you feel, your emotions. So if you use the I statement, so I felt a little bit disappointed when I saw this, or I felt disappointed when I saw that, or when you said this or that you highlight it, but don't hold a grudge, or don't ruin that person's life because of something small. Everybody does mistakes, so we've all been there. We've all done mistakes in our past, and sometimes we think that it was through our ingenuity that we got away with it, but it just so happened that that person had a bigger heart and let you off. But if that person was to take action on every single mistake we've done, I don't know, our life would take a different trajectory altogether. The other thing here is that it's very easy for me to be preachy and say, don't do this and don't do that. And you'll be exposed to a lot of pressure, you'll be exposed to a lot of things around to try things. All I ask is just to really weigh out the consequences of doing things. So one cigarette will lead to something stronger and stronger and stronger. One look of haram will lead to something stronger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you do big stuff. One lie can lead to something bigger and bigger and bigger. Never mind that, the fact that small, consistent, bad or negative or ithm or them or bad deeds constitutes as a big sin. So the constant action of small things constitutes as a big sin. And so it's easiest just to think, okay, this could potentially lead to something bad. This could potentially, no matter how strong-willed I am. Try your best not to be in that situation or that position. Get away from it. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, which tenibu, like, don't be in a place of alcohol knowingly that there'll be alcohol flowing. Because the haram is the drinking part of it. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell you, don't be within the vicinity of that stuff. And this applies the other way around. So if you want to increase who you are, be in the area of where you seek to be. And I think you would have deduced your own other wisdoms from the story. And inshallah, it's been quite entertainment, but at the same time, we've taken some valuable lessons from it, inshallah ta'ala. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll leave you all, bid you all farewell. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.